it, we were going to buy a car. My wife was pregnant, and I was like, okay, I saved a little money. We're going to buy a car. But instead of buying a car, I said, honey, I think I'm going to make a movie. And she's like, well, then you're going to drive our tiny little Yaris. And I had to, that was the deal. I was like, instead of buying a new car to have a baby, I had to agree to drive this tiny two-door car that I could barely fit in. Um, so I paid, instead of buying a car, I paid for my movie. And then once that was shot, I showed it to my sister, who has nothing to do with Hollywood, but she had been helping raise money for nonprofit organizations like theaters and art galleries and things up in San Francisco. And she said, I think I can show this to people and raise enough investor money to help you finish it. So that was the trick, is I had to shoot the movie first to convince people to help me finish the movie.
That's a very risky business model because it could all obviously go wrong.
Oh yeah, no, I would definitely say to people, don't ever do that. Don't do what I did. It's a terrible, terrible idea. I was, just desperate to make a movie. I had an inflated sense of my talent, and I just, I believed I could do it, but I could never suggest that as a legitimate way to make a movie. So I wouldn't do anything different in hindsight. I just wouldn't suggest it for other people.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because I say, I'm surprised because after seeing that, and especially if you work on Pirates of the Caribbean, even though like he's storyboarder, people didn't look at that and thought, oh, he's done this. He's been on big movie sets. Why don't we hire him to do something? Did that ever conversation ever come up, or and if it did, was it one of those where you thought, I'm not sure about a big studio way of doing things?
No, I was never offered anything from a big studio. I actually directed a lot more before I did Coherence. I was directing commercials and music videos, and I did some TV, but I never got offered another job after directing a movie that, became an international cult film. I never got another offer. Still haven't to this day.
I'm surprised because I know certain streaming services they'll put on their platforms a lot of independent films. I'm surprised directors haven't come together and said, actually, similar to what writers do with writer strikes, where they'll say, actually, this isn't working, or have they? I don't know about it, but I say, actually, we need to change the model here because Hollywood's just not going to survive otherwise.
Yeah, we don't have any leverage, so there's nothing you can do about it. They don't have any power for the tone or the look of it or any creative decisions. They're just sort of saying when to stop or when to start. So that was very interesting to me, the learning curve and getting to see the vast difference between those two things. So when I did my show, Shatterbelt, that came out just a few months ago, I did that much more like a filmmaker. That was, even though it was a TV show, it was my idea. I wrote it, I cast it, I was the showrunner. So that was much more just like making a film. The theme is always consciousness and our relationship to being conscious beings in the world. So it's got a little bit of coherence in it. If you liked Coherence, you'll recognize some of the actors from Coherence. You'll recognize some of the style. But each story, it's its own self-contained story. You can start with episode 2 if you want. People seems to be the favorite. So it doesn't matter what order you watch them in. And we're hoping to make a lot more if we can get some kind of support from the fans.